K-Wave 6 Radio and our host Kirk Spencer welcome you to our show bringing positive messages to today's world. And now, here's Kirk.
Hello and welcome to K-Wave 6 Radio. Today my guest is a very nice, very lovely woman who has a business of her own called Chic CEO.com. But we're going to get more into that later on during the show. But first, let me introduce you to Stephanie Burns. Hello and welcome to the show, Stephanie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing just fine, and from the sounds, so are you.
Yes.
Okay. We had a kind of a lengthy talk just before we started the show. Unfortunately, Stephanie had a little problem the first time we booked the show, but I had to reassure her that it's not a problem. I understand life does happen, and we either forget or something intervenes or something along that line, so it's not a problem. Again, Stephanie, so just relax. But today we're going to start with Stephanie, as we've been doing in the last few of these series, conversations about who Stephanie is, in this case, and what were the things that got Stephanie to be who and what she is today. In other words, encouraging you, the listener, to understand that there are many people out there that have had very similar life experiences and how they got past those experiences to become the person that they are now that you're listening to on this show. So, Stephanie, tell us about you, some of those defining things in life that made you or has brought you to be the person that you are.
Well, you know, when I sit down and think about the person that I am, there's a few things that come to mind, but mostly when I look back, I have this crazy work ethic. I look back in my childhood, even to high school, then to college, to now. Hard work has been a kind of a central theme. So in high school, I was in every single play, recital, sports team, honor club, anything I could possibly get into, I did, which, my schedule in high school was crazy. And then when I went to college, my last semester, I had 5 jobs and a full load of coursework plus friends plus a boyfriend. And I didn't need the money at all. I don't know why I did it. And then now, I work ridiculous hours being an entrepreneur, and so I think something must have happened along the way to pull that out of me, which has been a central theme of my life. And when I look back, it seems to be the culture of my family. My brother works very, very hard. He's a year younger than me. Both of my parents work extremely hard, and they still do. So I think I must have picked that up, and I see other people who relax and other people that take time to go have fun and do cool things. Not that I haven't done that, but I don't think I give myself permission as much as other people do. So that's kind of been an interesting observation that I've had looking back on my life.
Let me ask you a question before you continue on. You're looking at life, as you're saying it, you had your role models as your parents, and your brother does the same thing, even though he's younger than you. And it seems to be, it's about, for you and your family, if I'm putting words in your mouth, you can take them out and go, no, that's not what it is. But you're looking at life and going, I have life. Your soul is going, I have life, so I must do. And where your concentration, it seems like, since you brought it up, is that way, as your family has that motivation of life is to be lived and I have to do. But you've also learned how somewhere down the line to, I know how to enjoy it as well. Mm-hmm. I know how to relax some. But it's about just, I'm here and let's do, and let's just keep doing. That's the drive behind you. It's not to say that yours is any better or worse than anybody else's experience. Like you said, you haven't given yourself the permission to do what others do, but that seems to be your role in life, not everybody else's.
It's true, and I've been called tenacious on more than one occasion. I used to do triathlon, and I used to do half marathons, and I did them while I was in grad school. And I've been called tenacious in school. I've been called tenacious in business. I've been called tenacious in my hobbies. So I think that's really at the core of who I am. Tenacious would be a good word.
Yeah, kind of like the old expression of lead, follow, or just get out of the way.
Yes, yes.
I'm coming through.
Exactly, with my hair on fire.
Oh, yeah. Now, do I notice that you are blonde, or never mind? Just go.
I am. I am blonde. Yes.
No, I was going to go with the blonde or redhead. Hair is on fire. Anyway.
Yes. Yes.
So
and I grew up in the Midwest, so the work ethic in the Midwest is second to none. It's people work very hard out there, and it's just something that I've picked up. And coming out to Southern California, my brother also lives out here in Southern California, and both of us were very, I don't know if shocked is the word, but a big difference, a contrast really, in how people take more time to play on the West Coast and to enjoy the day or enjoy their life and not worry or stress about work, which is something that I'm working on. I'm trying to work on now, which, hopefully I'll be able to do. So
let me ask you a question. What state did you grow up in?
Nebraska.
Yeah.
Right in the middle. Right in the middle. And does my family own corn farms? They do. Yes. The answer is yes, they do.
Okay. I wasn't even going to think about corn farms. When I think of corn, I think of Iowa, but okay, whatever. Oh, yeah. Well, yes, I understand the work ethic in that case, because I was born and grew up in the Midwest myself. And you only have, especially in your family's case, you only have so many months for a growing season. So I got to get it done now.
Yeah.
There is no tomorrow. Today is what I have. So, in California, it's like, okay, it's temperate weather. Yeah, oranges will continue to grow, so no problem.
Exactly. It'll be another beautiful day out here, always.
Yeah, I kind of look at it somewhat that way. Yeah, it's similar. Here in Mexico, it's kind of a combination of both. It's kind of like, okay, I have to do, but I can be relaxed about it because, the other side of it is down here, as opposed to the United States, there is a work ethic that is, I work during daytime hours because there isn't, there are factories down here. They don't work daytime hours. They'll work all day long, 12, 14 hours. But when it comes about nightfall, they're all going home. It's family time. It's relaxing time, whatever they do. But I don't work overnight.
Yeah. And my dad was the same way. My dad would go into work really early, maybe 5 or 6 in the morning. But when it hit 5 o'clock, he was home and at the dinner table with our family every single night, and he treated that like a job too. That was very important. That was a priority, and his work ethic was very much there in family life as well. So I think our whole family grew up that way, which really had an impact on me. And I remember one instance where my brother and my dad left, and I think I might have been a freshman in college or a sophomore in college, and I was home for the weekend. And I remember my mom turning to me, we were in the kitchen, and saying, "Stephanie, you have to work harder than your brother and your dad because they're men and they have it easier, and you have to work twice as hard." And that really shocked and stunned me at that moment, and I took it to heart, right or wrong. I really took it to heart, and it was one of those pivotal moments that I'll never forget. That's really made an impact on my work and how I treat it. and how I treat my life, really. So,
Mm-hmm.
that was an interesting pivotal moment for me in college. Hmm.
Yeah, I got a little bigger surprise for you now. But at any rate, she's waiting for the surprise I was telling her about. Get together for you. Um, anyhow, let's continue on with a little more of you. So, you grew up in the Midwest. You moved to California. We're talking about your the drive, that Midwestern drive, which most people understand if they've ever lived or came from the Midwest. And moving to California is a bit of a, say bit of a culture shock, or regional shock in, well, culture in the region. Going from hard driving, got to get it done, to, yeah, we'll get around, get it done sooner or later.
Right.
More sooner than later, but it'll get done, kind of an attitude. So tell us about more of what you learned in the process of getting from, well, Midwest to the West Coast.
Well, when I moved to California, I started working for a casino, and I worked there for a couple of years as a manager, and I had come in as a marketing coordinator, and my boss quit within 2 weeks of me starting, and I had to either pick up the ball or completely fail. And so I started running the advertising department for the casino, and I was way too young. I was 23 at the time, 22, 23. I knew nothing about gaming. I just, had graduated from college. I didn't know anything about marketing. Nobody knows anything about marketing when they come straight out of college. And here I was, trying my best to pick up this ball in a situation that I had no idea what I was doing. And, it was the worst and best experience of my life. And I learned a lot of things, namely how to negotiate, but a lot of things about office politics and corporate and those kinds of things. And I, coming straight out of college, I still wanted to go out with my friends and, enjoy this new city. So I was trying to juggle all of that and realizing that things, having 5 jobs in college and, being in every honor society and all this stuff that I did in high school, when you're younger, none of that stuff really impacts anybody else or makes a big difference at the end of the day. But when you get into a work setting, when you get into corporate and your job actually means something to the bottom line, piling too many things on your plate can have a negative effect for the people around you, which was a huge lesson for me, that I can't just put everything on my plate saying, yeah, I can do it, yeah, I can do it, yeah, I can do it anymore, because those things have gotten bigger and they matter. Mm-hmm. So that was a big lesson for me. And, I love San Diego, and I loved it out here, and I started to relax a little. And, there's a lot of things that I learned in that job, and I've taken jobs since then. But one of the big things that I've also learned is that I am a horrible employee. I
can relate that, yeah.
Well, I was just telling you right before we hit record that, I got kicked out of Catholic school in first grade. I have a hard time with rules. I have a hard time following all the rules in the right way, and I tend to question things a lot, and I tend to question why I'm doing things the way I'm doing them, or if there's a more efficient way. So I carry those things through my experience, and then I started working for an ad agency, an innovation consultancy actually, and I had a boss who was British, and he's brilliant, and he recognized that in me. And he didn't let me get away with it all the time, but he let me get away with it most of the time. Mm-hmm. And he nurtured that in me, which was great. So, yeah, I've always had this crazy drive towards a goal or achieving something, and it's been quite innate in me. So, and I see it in my family too. It's something that we've all fostered, and it's been a big part of my life. And I guess this just makes me sound like I'm a crazy workaholic, which I'm not. I'm very, very loving and fun. But yeah, I like to create, and I like to work.
I can attest to, for those who are listening, that Stephanie is definitely a fun-loving and a loving person. So we're going to continue on with Stephanie in just a moment after we take our break. So please stay tuned, and we'll be right back with Stephanie Burns.
Hi, I'm Doug Harold. You're listening to the K-Wave 6 Radio with my friend Kurt Spencer. I'm with Time and Eternity, timeandeternity.net. I'm really glad you're listening to the K-Wave 6 Radio.
Hi, this is Pat Kammer, author of Love's Voice Changes You, Book 1. And I now have Book 2, which is called Hello Awesome, Message from Spirit in Pat's Patters. Buy your book from Amazon.com.
Hi, and welcome back. Here we are on K-Wave 6 Radio, and my guest today, Stephanie Burns of Chic CEO.com. We left off where Stephanie was talking about something that's very, very close to me, which or my experience is I don't actually consider myself to be a great employee. I'm a pretty good boss because I like to encourage people to do what they do best, which is what Steph was talking about with her British boss, who just recognized the abilities and, okay, I let you go with the reins. You can go out so far now, just kind of like, and that's too far. Okay, come back. So I was that kind of a boss. But even for my boss, it was just a little bit too liberal. So, but to continue on with Stephanie here, elaborate a little bit more about how you felt that you were not the model employee, put it that way.
Well, I've always just had my own way of doing things, and this happened in school too, in college and in high school. I just have my own way of doing them. I was even tested for an algebra deficiency, or some sort of a math disability, because I would always get the beginning part of the equation right and the ending part of the equation right, and in the disability test they told me what happens in the middle is crazy. Mm-hmm. They don't even know what I was doing, but somehow I ended up with the right answer. So something in my brain tells me that I can get from point A to point Z, but I might not get there through B, D, E, F, and that I take my own time. And this in the 3.5 years that I've been running this company, in your interview, this is the first time I'm going to talk about this ever. But I had a boyfriend when I was creating Chic CEO, whose father is a multi-billionaire. Mm-hmm. And so I spent a lot of time with his family, and we did amazing, wonderful things, like the coolest things you've ever heard of. But my favorite part about my relationship with this guy was the really cool conversations that I got to have with his dad. And we were dating through getting my MBA and through up to the launch of Chic CEO. We broke up 2 days after I hit live on Chic CEO. And so through that relationship, I learned so much about business, entrepreneurship, and being what it looks like to run a multi-billion-dollar empire. Mm-hmm. And there's so many interesting things that I learned, and namely what I learned was this way of thinking of mine isn't off track, and that in order to build something that big, you have to question what's around you. You have to question the structures that you're confined in. You have to not be a good employee, and that was very eye-opening for me and made a huge impact on my work and on my outlook. And when you come from a tiny town to this kind of crazy lifestyle where you're flying private and, you're yachting on the weekends and doing all these cool, crazy things with people, that are in this level, this echelon, if you will. The contrast between the two really broadens your scope of perception to what you can really do, accomplish in the world if you take the time to ask why you're doing the things that you're doing, or why you're being asked to do the things that you're doing. And so that combined with my work ethic, this big picture thinking and seeing what's possible by asking the question why, has been very defining for me.
I actually would like for you to build on that one, because you're just talking about math from A to Z in your own way. And I'm building up on something here. Versus conformity, in other words, yeah, you're getting the answer. We don't understand how the heck you got to the answer. And in my way of asking the question is, what is more important, the journey to get there or the answer? Because, as the expression always goes, all rivers and streams lead to the ocean. There's just a different path to get there.
Right. And, I think for me it's a journey. I hope I end up at the ocean. I don't want to end up, somewhere crazy where I can't get out of, or I'm putting myself in danger. But I think that we're allowed to create, and we're allowed to be creative, and we're allowed to think the way our brain was created. Mm-hmm. Maybe I have a math disability. Maybe I have a disability, for sure. But at the end of the day, I saw a person, and I got to spend a lot of time, 3 years, in fact, with somebody who also thought differently and created something massive. And he provides jobs for, thousands of people. They create innovation in the medical space. I mean, this one person, this one brain thinking differently, maybe ending up at the same place, but doing it in a different way, was really affirmative and really validating to see that just because we're not doing things the way that we're being told isn't actually very good. And so I don't beat myself up anymore about not being able to conform to things, or maybe I do things out of the norm, or this is why I'm a bad employee, because what I'm able to create and produce has been pretty amazing in my mind, and I'm thankful for the journey, and I'm grateful for it. And I very much encourage people to ask why and challenge what they're being asked to. And I believe it's a journey, to answer your question in a roundabout way.
No, that's fine. Because actually I want you to identify your own experience. How do you feel about conformity versus, I don't remember the exact wording on this particular poster, but it says, if you follow the crowd, you will oftentimes never see the things that the individual that takes a different route, that travels on his own, sees and experiences.
Right. I mean, we all conform in, a ton of different ways. I mean, we all wear clothes, we all
most
drive.
of us anyway.
Most of us all wear clothes. We all drive on the right side of the road, so that we, conformity is okay to a certain extent in order to keep people safe and keep people, it's like that. But we all have a mind that we can do whatever we want with. We have an imagination that is private to us and is completely limitless, which is so fascinating to me. And it's there that we can challenge some of these norms and structures to think differently and get innovative and go outside of conformity to see what the possibilities are. I mean, sometimes I'll look at my business partner and say, what if money didn't exist? Mm-hmm. What can we do if there's no money? How would we run businesses? Let's think about what that would look like. And she just looks at me like
you lost it.
like I'm crazy, but really it's that kind of level of thinking, which is not even big in terms of what some people really do and think about, but it's this notion of living in your imagination to a point where we can figure out and be innovative. And we discussed a little bit ago too, even about government. I wish that there's a way for our government to really come out of this norm and these shackles and this structure, to really think differently about how we can run things better, more efficiently, sustainable, peaceful, that rewards hard work and doesn't reward laziness, so we're all doing our part and we are actually a society and people are taken care of. But so I think that there's opportunity, really, if we let ourselves get out of conformity for the sake of conformity, to really think differently and innovate in amazing ways that could rapidly change everything.
Let me ask you a question. The one I won't ask you is that one that no gentleman is supposed to ask a woman, what's your age? I'm not asking. I'm not asking. But let me ask you this. Are you a mother?
No, not yet. Okay. I have a puppy. Does that count?
But not the first person I've heard that from. I don't have any children, but I have a puppy. I have a cat. Yeah, no.
But someday, yes.
Yeah. No, there's the reason I was going to ask. Well, the reason why I was asking that is because I am a parent, and I am a teacher in school on a part-time basis, among other things that I do. I'm kind of like you. I've got 5 different jobs and doing something else too. But there's one thing that I've oftentimes told parents, whether as a teacher or just encouraging younger parents to understand something. And I go, as a parent, and for even other teachers, the thing that we need to teach our children, because your job as a parent is to not to coddle and to do all this, is not to get the kids to necessarily conform. Yes, conformity, as you said earlier, for our sake and stuff along those lines, yes. Those are things that are necessary to live in a community or a society. But how the person thinks and how the person sees life, what they feel that they need to do in life, identifying who and what their purpose is here on their life, in their world, that is part of what the parent is supposed to do in helping that child to become a contributing adult. And that's what you were talking about, is contributing to. And that's what I was really getting at with that, was just, that's our role. And, there's another expression that I see in posters is, it is easier to teach a child to be a good, responsible adult than to try to change them when they become a bad adult, if you want to call it that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and I really agree, and I'm very thankful that my parents have been super supportive of the things that I wanted to do in my life. I mean, I didn't always want to be an entrepreneur. I didn't want to run a business. I wanted to be an opera singer. That was my dream. That was my childhood dream. And I remember my dad dropping me off at college saying, "What are you going to do?" And I was like, "Duh, Dad, I'm going to be an opera singer. You know this." And I got my bachelor's degree in vocal music performance, and then realized that really probably meant that I would be a waitress for life. And I got a second bachelor's degree in advertising and ended up getting my MBA later. But, he just, okay, Stephanie, whatever you want to do, because he knew I'd work hard no matter what at it and make my way. And so I'm very thankful for my parents for letting me follow my dreams, no matter how crazy they thought they might be or not. So
I celebrate your parents, because they were allowing you to find yourself, because a lot of us had to go through that journey in a different way. So that's a wonderful thing to hear about your parents. So I'm assuming you're not married yet?
Not yet, close.
Okay. Mr. and Mrs. Burns, you did a great job.
Exactly.
So with that, we're going to take our break here, so stay tuned. We'll be right back with Stephanie Burns of Chic CEO.com. It's Chic is C-H-I-C, so don't go chick.
Yeah,
Chic.
not chick. Chic.
Chic,
Yes.
yes. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Aloha from Maui, Hawaii. This is Carrie Gray of My Green Insurance at mygreeninsurance.com. Thank you for joining us. We're the first co-op for alternative medicine health coverage. You're listening to us on kwave6radio.tk. Aloha!
Hi, this is Amy Young of JSJ Phone. We are providers of junior iPhone, iPad, iPod, also Samsung, Sony, Nokia parts and accessories at very good quality and low prices. We sell to individuals and companies, have 3 to 5 days delivery time by DHL or UPS. We do delivery in 24 hours after payment confirmed. For more information, see our website www.jsjphone.com www.jsjphone.com. Contact me Amy Young mailbox emy@jsjphone.com or by phone 0086 134 186969395 by Skype emy.yang2012.
Are you ready to put an end to thinking about how you wish it were and take action? Take this step to find out more by going to coachingbyria.com, and you can receive your free consultation session with Coach Ria. Coach Ria is a certified professional life coach with a passion to help make the difference in the world.
Hey everybody, this is Jason Pockrant of Live to Give over at jasonpockrant.com, and you are listening to K-Wave 6 Radio.
Hello and welcome back to K-Wave 6 Radio. Again, my guest today is Stephanie Burns, Stephanie Burns of ChicCEO.com. We're about to get into what ChicCEO.com is, but I'm going to start this with something that Stephanie was talking about in the last segment, where she was talking about her mother's advice about working harder and become what she wanted to become. On ChicCEO.com's About page, her first paragraph is, let me start with this. In a world where if you're honestly a minority or a woman, being in any role of authority is difficult. So allow me to introduce you to Stephanie's business page, Chic CEO, the About page, which reads, at Chic CEO, we believe women should have, God, I'm just having a hard time here. Let's start that again. I'm not going to edit that out. At Chic CEO, we believe women should have the business knowledge and support they need at their polished fingertips. That's cute. We created this website as a resource for all amazing women we've met who either don't know how to implement their ideas or were too afraid to take the plunge. At Chic CEO, you'll find easy to understand, easy to implement business knowledge in its most basic form. Best of all, you'll find other women who are willing to share advice and experiences simply because someone else did the same for them. High-level information is here for you to get started in being your own boss. The rest is up to you. With that, Stephanie, you have the ball. It's not a medicine ball, so don't worry about catching too hard. Roll with it, girl.
Yes, the reason I created Chic CEO was because I was getting my MBA and was also training for a triathlon, I believe, and I was working full time. And I was in class one night thinking, oh, there should be this information somewhere where I can get to it, where I'm not exhausted and I can, I don't have to be in school, even though I wouldn't give my MBA away for anything, but at that moment I was just exhausted. And at the same time, it was, I think, 2008 or 2009, everybody was getting laid off. Everybody. So my friends were calling me up, asking me to tell them how to start a business. I just got laid off from my job. I need to make ends meet. I'm going to do some consulting on the side, or I want to do wedding planning or personal styling, or, my own accounting firm. And I kept saying, well, why are you asking me? Why are you asking me how to start a business? I don't know. And they said, well, you're getting your business degree or getting your MBA. How are you not learning that? Because I'm learning level concepts like economics and strategic management and global marketing. I'm not learning how to go down to the courthouse and pick up this piece of paper and this is the legal entity you should be and here's how you should save for your taxes. That's not what's happening. Well, I kept getting this question over and over again from so many different of my girlfriends. So finally one night I thought, I'm just going to find a reason for them so that they keep top out. Finding search, I'm trying to find something. The SBA is complicated. SCORE is great if you know what classes you should be taking. But I couldn't find anything else that really spoke to me the way that I thought these women should be spoken to. And if I did find something, it was always behind a cash curtain, which I didn't think was fair. Mm-hmm. So I decided to create a little dinner party, and I brought all of these women that kept asking me these questions over to my house, and I had 15 of them in my living room. And I gave them all wine and cheese, and I just started asking them a ton of questions about, losing their job and, starting a business on the side, and how are they going to go about it? What were they missing? What are the holes? And I got a ton of information back from them. A lot of them would Google things. One person said, well, I made a logo. Doesn't that mean I'm in business? No. A lot of them came saying, they just simply asked their dad. And I just thought that was unacceptable, and it really, the light bulb went off when I just looked around my living room and saw 15 women that were in my friend circle that were having this issue. And I thought, well, if just my friends are having this issue, there's got to be a huge market for this.
Indeed.
So I started looking around, doing my research, and I decided to create the business plan for Chic CEO for grad school to graduate. And I created the business plan. I presented it to the dean and the board to get my MBA. And, it was a full panel, and all my classmates had to present as well. It was a full day thing. And afterwards, the dean came up to me and said, out of all the presentations today, yours is singing. And I thought, well, that's just lovely. And I, go home and put it on the shelf, and I go to work the next day. I go back to my job. Else I'm off.
Okay,
And
hold on. So it just cuts off, and you start where, I think it's your thesis. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Starflight cut us off, and it just went dead airspace.
Oh shoot. Okay.
Sorry.
So I decided to create the business plan for Chic CEO for my final thesis to graduate. Uh-huh. And I took that along with all my other classmates, and we had to present it to the dean and the board to get our master's degree. And so it was a full day panel. Everybody's presenting. I present. And when the whole thing was over, the dean came up to me and said, out of all of these presentations today, yours is the only one I would consider investing in. Ooh. Yeah. And I thought, well, that's great. Good. So what did I do? I went home and I put it on the shelf and went to work next day. And I went back to my job. And just like everybody else in 2009, I ended up getting laid off as well. And so I went straight home, grabbed the business plan, and I started working on it. And that was in November of 2009. In February of 2010, my brother and I were cast to be on the Wheel of Fortune. Mm-hmm. And we get on the Wheel of Fortune, and the very last prize puzzle, we won $12,000. Mm-hmm. And I took my half to create Chic CEO. Cool. And so I took that entire year of 2010 to write, plan, create, and launch the website, which launched in December of 2010. And then by June of 2011, we were named one of the top 10 entrepreneurial websites for women by Forbes.
Geez, 6 months.
6 months, which catapulted everything.
Uh-huh. So having 5 jobs and being in school and a boyfriend and all the rest of that actually paid off.
It did. It absolutely did. Yes.
Wonderful. So tell us a little bit more about Chic CEO and how it actually, well, the starting part from being Forbes top. Yeah. In 6 months. Tell us more about that.
So the premise behind the site is to give women the ground level information of what they need when they get a business started. And like I said, I really created this for my girlfriends sitting in my living room. They had all of these questions that had nothing to do with what the actual business does, but actual business practices. And people who start businesses, there has to how to do it right. And I could not find it for the life of me, and neither could they. And so if I were to find something for them and I type it and send it, just like me, just like I was talking to them. So I'd be like, hey girl, how's it going? Yada, yada, yada. Here's what you're doing, and here's what, I found. And so I wanted the site to feel like they were talking to me and talking to their best friend. I didn't dumb anything down by any means, feel stupid or make them feel like they need an MBA to understand what I was saying. So it was really about letting these women move forward with their core competency, what they do well, and letting Chic CEO guide them through getting the business started without, taking too much time. I had a woman call me from Dubai, and she said, I have been searching for 8 months for the information that I found in 20 minutes on your site. And that's what it's there for. That's what it's there for. And we have a membership program. So all the information on there is for free. We also have a membership program that's $49 a month. It's called the Chic Elite program. And that's where we deep dive into something every month. And I'm super proud of this program. So we go into strategic planning. So how to create a strategic plan for your entire business that we drill down from the big idea all the way down to the actionable steps that you can give an action plan to your intern, your business partner, yourself, or an employee, and everybody can execute against the action plan to realize the vision. All the way from how to get free press. With Chic CEO, I've never paid a dime for marketing. We have 65,000 female entrepreneurs at work.
What?
Yes, and I call it bootstrapping, getting scrappy your bootstrapping, and I show you how in these trainings how to appreciate everything. Office space. I got a free treadmill desk. I have, we've been in Forbes, Wall Street Journal, Inc. magazine, Fast Company, Amex Open. I teach everybody exactly what I did by being scrappy and hustling. For $49 a month, which is a steal. That's a pedicure and a manicure, so it's a great program. And then we also sell advertising on our site, and that's how we make our money. So that's what Chic CEO is. It's for any woman and man that wants to come and get the ground level information they need to really get their business started and successful.
It's a good thing we don't have video going, because as soon as you said "and man," because I was just to write down the question. Do we allow men into this? And you just went, and then I just threw my arms up and went, my question.
We do, and I have men in my Chic Elite program, and they love it. They love it. So it works for them. It's autonomous. It's just a marketing speak. People ask me all the time, well, are you a feminist? And, aren't you just discriminating against men? And the answer is no. Chic CEO does not discriminate against men. We have men on our brain trust, men on my advisory board. What it was a strategic business decision on my end. See, there's a fast-growing market of women that are starting businesses. They're starting businesses almost 2-to-1 over men right now. And so I'm serving a fast-growing market, which I will always stand behind and recommend to anybody who isn't for business advice is to find a fast-growing market, which is what I've done.
Wonderful. I think I might join you up on this one. I wasn't going to ask you if it was feminist kind of a movement or anything. I remember reading the information I got from you about Chic CEO and how it was basically a ground roots thing from you and your girlfriends. So I figured, okay, she did the name, because you were helping your girlfriends as well at the time. So Chic sounded good. I don't know if it was it, but that was my assumption, and it just went, okay, fine. So,
the reason I called it Chic CEO was because here I am in my living room with these absolutely stunningly beautiful women, super driven, super sexy, super smart. You know, they know what they're doing. They
right,
just
guys,
couldn't find
it. Calm down.
Calm down, everyone.
Yeah, just don't go, oh, they're super sexy and all that. Oh, I got to join.
Were.
No, join for the business.
Yeah, they were. And, you know, they're women, and I hate the notion of people saying, you know, think like a man, act like a woman. No, we can think like a woman and act like a woman and still kick ass in business. We can run a $2 million business from our little table in Starbucks as well.
Oh, yeah.
So I wanted to marry this kind of feminine, chic, stylish, you know, women being women with that powerful connotation that comes with CEO. You know, we can be women and we can be CEOs. And we still maintain our femininity, and in whatever definition that means for you, and still run some badass businesses.
Well, we're going to do some more talking with Stephanie Burns, and before we go there, there's one thing I have a number of friends. Matter of fact, I was telling someone just recently that I've always loved strong women. But a woman is also in touch with her femininity. In other words, I can be tough when I need to be tough, but I can still be gentle and sweet, kind, which is something I've always liked. And most of my friends through my life, female friends, have been that way. In other words, I give a quick example. I was out with some friends this was one evening several years ago. When I still lived in the United States, and some guy started picking on one of the girls that was in the group. And I didn't come to her rescue. In other words, she didn't need to be rescued. But I was trying to save the guy, and I kept saying, you don't want to go there with her. And he kept going, and I just said, you don't want to go there with her. And she was being very nice and calm about it. And he did it one more time, and I said, no, never mind, you've already crossed the line. She rose up. She didn't get loud, verbal. She didn't start pounding on anybody, but she just looked at him with all seriousness and calm, and just basically read the guy the riot act. And by the time she was finished, he felt duly small. He should have felt small by that time. And he just kind of left with his tail between his legs, and I said, I told you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the kind of woman I've always liked being around with. She's just one. She doesn't necessarily need to be defended, especially not verbally. Physically is another thing, but verbally, she can take care of herself.
Yeah. And you know, I'm the same way. You know, it's funny. When I'm at work, you know, it's very go, and you know, hustle, and not that I don't have a lot of heart in business and a lot of love in business either. But when I come home, it's nice to feel that I feel like a woman, you know, with my boyfriend. So, you know, it's really great that he's that masculine energy to my feminine energy, which sometimes at work I feel like there's a lot of masculine energy that comes from me in order to run this, which I'm fine with. I love my masculine side, but I love his masculine side more, you know, so it's nice to have that.
Yeah.
That when I come home. So I definitely get what you're saying. I don't need anybody to defend me ever, really, because I have a very sharp tongue anyway. So,
yeah.
but it's nice to know if you know that I would be defended by my partner too. So yeah,
exactly. With that, I'm going to take our break. So please stay. We'll be right back with Stephanie Burns of ChicCEO.com, and we're going to let her wrap it up with some wonderful things so she can tell us more about ChicCEO.com. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Hi, this is Megan Serleski, author of Who Am I? How My Daughter Taught Me to Let Go and Live Again. And I am on K-Wave 6 Radio.
Do you get writer's block or tongue-tied when you try to write or talk? Need a wordsmith for a script, article, or research paper? Let K-Wave 6 Productions help you with all of your audio, visual, editing, and language translation needs for your business or hobby. Does the thought of creating a website give you chills? We also have webmasters to help you with all your website needs. Remember, K-Wave 6 Productions. www.kwave6productions.tk or email us at info.kwave6productions.tk.
Hello and welcome back to K-Wave 6 Radio. My guest, of course, if you've been listening, is Stephanie Burns of Chic CEO.com. In our final segment here, I'm going to ask Stephanie to wrap it up with words of wisdom and experiences that she's had and things that can encourage you, the listener, to understand you're not alone in this, in your life, in whatever you're trying to do. Stephanie is here to help you, male or female, in your business, what you want to do in your business life, I'll put it that way. And she has a lot of people that are there, as she says before, even as I read in her on her About page, there's a lot of people, as she says, there's 65,000 people there that are all there that are willing to help you to succeed, and you bring your strengths, they help you with their strengths, and everybody can be a wonderful thing. Matter of fact, I think I want to join it. So, just before we had a little problem with electricity down here, so we're going to try to wrap this up quick. I was asking Stephanie to talk about words of wisdom to get past fear. And I guess I'll lead into this one because I was actually interrupted by the loss of power. And I was getting ready to talk about, for guys especially, because we were talking about fear, and hopefully, Stephanie, you can build off of this. When I was 18 years old, my father bought me a single lens reflex camera. And I wanted that back then because I was really interested in photography. I was already developing and printing my own film and all the rest of that. So it was a wonderful thing. Built a dark room in the house and had all that equipment going on. And I decided I wanted to do something more with this than just going out into nature and taking pictures. I wanted to do something a little bit more and actually earn a living from it, which I probably should have stayed with, but oh well, life being what it is, that was yesterday, today is today. But I went to and got a job as, if you want to call it, a staff photographer for a modeling agency, which was kind of unusual for at least somebody who was 18 years old to walk into a modeling agency and go, I can take pictures. You want me to take pictures? Yes. Okay, fine. And boom, I'm doing it. Well, 18 years old, it was fairly typical 18 years old kid for my age, hormones just going all crazy, but also being shy, and that's what I really want to get into, is just that shyness, which shyness is basically nothing but a fear. And getting past that fear of talking to pretty women, because I used to ask some of the models or those who were studying to be models, I said, I suppose you girls get a lot of dates. And their reply to me was, no, we don't. And I went, how is that possible? You're gorgeous. And they said, no, we go out to places to go dancing, whatever the case may be, and we could be standing there alone. And you can see the guys looking at us and wanting to talk to us, but they won't get past their fear of being rejected. So we normally stay there alone. He says, when a guy actually comes over and talks to us, we like that. Except for, of course, the jerks, But, if they come across and they just get past the fear and go, I'm going to talk to this person, and they talk to us just like another human being, not, hey, baby, what's your sign, or, hey, baby, you got an email account, or, give me your cell phone number, whatever. Just talk to them as another person. She says, that makes us feel good. It makes us feel like, yeah, we're pretty. We know this is why we're in modeling school. It's not going to our heads, but we just want to be treated like a normal person. Getting past the fear. Yeah, getting past the fear. And I think that understanding that fear does serve a purpose.
it wakes us up. It alerts us to something. But sometimes we mistake fear for excitement. And, I heard a really amazing photographer last year at South by Southwest say, when he gets that feeling in his stomach of being really scared of either a thought or something he wants to shoot, he automatically knows. He first has the feeling that he should turn around and run the other way, but then he automatically knows at that moment that he actually should turn and run towards it. And so if we exercise this notion that fear is actually a way for us to understand that there might be something exciting that could happen right now, like getting a date with a beautiful woman, or starting a business, that it's really just our body's protection system. It's a little bit of ego, and we have to not think so emotionally about our fear and think logically. And I believe this with everything in me, that I'm more scared of regretting not trying or not going for something than actually going for it and getting rejected. And there's people out there that do rejection exercises. I do things called unreasonable requests, where I ask for crazy things, and I get probably 90% of them, yes. And so I do that because I need some of these things that I ask for, but I do it because I want to get over that fear of being rejected so that I can live more fully and do more cool things in my business. So I think, and another thing that I do, a practical thing that I do to get over fear, is when I was starting, I was terrified. I thought that was the stupidest idea I've ever thought of, and why would anybody listen to me? And all of these crazy things that go on in my head. But what I did was I communicated my idea to 3 very close friends of mine, and when I was in that moment of almost being paralyzed by the fear of launching this business, I would call one of them and ask them to remind me why I was doing it, what the value that I was bringing to the world was. And they would talk me off the ledge and, really tell me that I'm bringing value to a lot of people, that I'm not necessarily saying I'm an expert in anything, but I'll research and find the answer for you so you don't have to. And so if you can find people in your life that believe in your value, believe in what you're doing, but you first have to recognize that you're in those low moments, in order to reach out and ask somebody to help you get through it is really key and has really helped me.
Before I forget to say this, or actually ask you, is because you answered the ad I had for radioguestlist.com, and their advertisements is always for experts. And I really hate that title, sorry, radioguestlist.com, but I don't think, and I don't look for experts in fields. I'm looking for someone who has an experience. And the experience, if you really want to put labels on it, because it's, putting a label on something like, I'm looking for an expert. Well, average person just kind of goes, I'm not an expert. I just have some experience in that area. So by some definition, that makes you an expert. Okay. So, basically if I'm looking for a business partner, if I'm looking for something in that field, whatever that field is, I'm looking for someone that has some experience there. Share with me your experience. Does that make you an expert? As you said, no, not necessarily. It just gives me some experience there. I can tell you my experience and say, this is how I got around it, or I got through it, or whatever the case may be. And this is that other area of just getting rid of the fear.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I used to apply for jobs when I was younger. You're talking about I just figured out that I was not the employable kind. But I would also I grew up with the expression of the Peter principle, which is going as far as you can to find out where my level of incompetency is. In other words, where is my limit? Where is my cap? Okay, I don't know anything about that. Yep, that's my cap for today. Tomorrow is another thing.
Right.
So, what do you have to think or say about that?
I think a lot of people call themselves experts, and the problem with that in my mind, and why I never ever say that, because truly I don't believe that I'm an expert by any means. I just know that I will be a pit bull in finding an answer for you. If you have a question about how to get your business started, I will be the one to find your answer for you. That's what Chic CEO does. The problem with calling yourself a guru, an expert, and those kinds of things, while you might be really great at what you do, which is lovely, is that you're setting yourself up to be a person or a hierarchy between you and your community. And, I have, like I said, there's 65,000 people that are subscribed to Chic CEO, and I never once ever tell them that I'm an expert at anything. I do blitz strategy calls every week that you can sign on to and listen for 20 minutes of a piece of strategy that I use in my business that can help you. But I don't think I'm an expert in it. And what I want my community to know, what I want everybody to know about me personally, Stephanie Burns, as the founder of Chic CEO, is that I sit and cry at my computer too. I lie awake at night freaking out about cash flow too. I, just like everybody else, am stressed to the max. Maybe I don't eat as well as I should or take care of myself as much as I should, and I work 10, 12, 15 hours a day just like every other entrepreneur. There is no difference between me and anybody else that's getting started or has a business for 3 years. And I believe that by being transparent about my struggles and challenges as well as my successes has been what keeps my community trusting what we do and trusting, the strategies or the things that I bring, and why my Chic Elite membership program is so strong. It's actual actionable things that I've done in order to create a difference in my business, and I've seen it create in other people's. But there's no way that I'm an expert at any and all of this. It's just I will find the answer. That's it. And I'm just like the rest of you, and I cry too, and I laugh too, and I celebrate too, and I drink too much wine at networking events too, and you know what I mean? There's no difference. So, I don't like creating that hierarchy between me and my community.
Well, there you go, people. You heard it from the person's mouth. She's just an average person who has the tenacity to go out and find what's needed. Sounds like me when I used to teach school back in the United States. I don't have all the answers, but if it's important enough to you and you can't find it, I will go find it for you. Yeah. Wonderful. With that, we're going to bring this show to a close, and let me give a couple messages, and we'll see if Stephanie has any final words of wisdom that she wants to impart upon us as a regular person who has just some knowledge and experience in her life. Just remember, everyone, that you can find our show on iTunes, podcast.com, RSS feed, and YouTube. All of our players are computer and smartphone friendly, and you can subscribe to any player that you like once you've chosen the one that you like the most. We'll let you know about when what show is being broadcast, broadcast soon, or it just hit the player for broadcast. As we've heard before, I do get some of my guests from RadioGuestList.com. They like for us to get a little plug for them. And if you have any suggestions for people or questions for a show, please do contact us through our contact page on K-Wave Radio, K-Wave 6 Radio. Can't even remember the name of my own show. Isn't that bad? Kwave6radio.tk. There you go. Anyway, so with that all being said, Stephanie, do you have any final words of wisdom that you'd love to tell us? I know you got something.
Just get started. Go do what you want to go do, and don't worry about the final outcome or having all your ducks in a row, or if you're going to fail. Just go try. That's my biggest piece of advice. That's it.
And if you fall down, get back up, just like children, like we all did.
Yep.
Yeah. You fall,
Exactly.
get down, get back up, and go, oh, that's not right. Okay, we'll do it this way. Ah, that works. Cool.
Exactly.
Move
exactly.
on.
I was just telling somebody this the other day. I'm like, we don't yell at babies when they're trying to walk, do we? No, we celebrate their wobbly first step where they probably fall. We celebrate it. We yell and we scream. We take pictures. We show our mom, grandma, and grandpa. We're stoked. And that's exactly how it is with your business or trying anything else new. So don't beat yourself up about taking baby steps and failing and falling along the way. It's a part of human nature.
Wonderful. Stephanie, for those who haven't heard it, she's coming back soon. Probably in about 8 weeks, give or take. We don't know just yet, but we'll work it out. And who knows, maybe she'll have something additional to tell us because, life is about learning. So she'll share with us when she comes back soon. And thank you, everyone, for being in attendance to the show. Do keep, subscribe to us, contact us, whatever the case may be. And Stephanie, thank you. Thanks a bunch for being here. And we look forward to seeing you again in the future.
Thanks for having me. That was fun.
Yes, indeed. Take care, everyone. Be well. Bye-bye.
Thank you for being part of our audience. For more information about K-Wave 6 Radio and the services we offer, go to www.kwave6radio.tk. Have a wonderful day.